Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar series on getting started with BIM Collaborate Pro for Civil. This morning's webinar is a four-part series. So in part one, we'll be covering how to initiate Civil 3D projects within the cloud environment. I'm your presenter, Lucy Tang. At Vinzero, my specialization is in the Civil 3D space and providing training for Civil 3D. Joining us today would also be my colleague, Dean Peterson. He'll be answering any questions you have as we go along the webinar. So definitely feel free to pop in any questions you have inside the Q&A panel. Here at Vinzero, we are your digitalization partners for the e-com industries. What we do is we provide software solutions for your company's unique scenario, challenges, and goals from the suite of Autodesk products. We also provide full support services, education, and consultancy services. This is the agenda for today. So we'll start off with an introduction into Autodesk Construction Cloud and BIM Collaborate Pro. Then we'll move on to what's required for BIM Collaborate Pro to function. Then from there, it's the overall workflow of how to set up a Civil 3D project. So from there, it's admin setup, how to create your folder structures, teams and coordination spaces, and finally, how to add files to your project within Civil 3D. So let's kick off with an introduction into Autodesk Construction Cloud and BIM Collaborate Pro. We'll explain how the two are related. Autodesk Construction Cloud, as ACC, is a cloud platform that is made up of multiple products. And these products, we call them modules. So BIM Collaborate Pro refers to a collection of 3 products within ACC. They are Autodesk Docs, Design Collaboration, and Model Coordination. So each performs a specific role that makes BIM Collaborate Pro what it is. Therefore, when you're working with BIM Collaborate Pro, you are working on the ACC platform. So what is BIM Collaborate Pro? BIM Collaborate Pro can be boiled down to 3 core things: cloud collaboration, model coordination, and document management. With cloud collaboration, you can collaborate with anyone based anywhere in the world. You'll be able to work on files at the same time. This is facilitated by Autodesk Docs, which is your common data environment. And design collaboration plays a role here to efficiently share files across different teams. Model coordination automates clash detection for files within each team, as well as any shared models between different teams. So this allows you to identify and resolve design issues before they arise in the construction phase. Autodesk Docs is surely the backbone of ACC and, by extension, BIM Collaborate Pro. Docs is where all your files are stored, and with Docs, you'll be able to manage files and track version control. For BIM Collaborate Pro to function, there are a few requirements you must fulfill. So what are these requirements? The most vital thing is access to BIM Collaborate Pro. First and foremost, you need to have a subscription to BIM Collaborate Pro. The second half of this is access. Even if you have a subscription, if you don't have BIM Collaborate Pro activated for you inside ACC, you won't be able to use any of BIM Collaborate Pro's modules. This is something to keep in mind, and we will go over this point later on in the webinar. Secondly, you need an Autodesk account to be able to access your projects through the ACC platform. And finally, install the Autodesk Desktop Connector. This is what allows you to add files to projects within Civil 3D and allows you access to files within the cloud inside Civil 3D. Do note, you need to keep a keen eye out for Desktop Connector updates. This is because the second it's not up to date, you will not be able to add or download any of your files through Civil 3D. We go into further detail about how to use the Desktop Connector in part 3 of this series. To start any project, it's important to have your administrators set up to facilitate the process of creating projects in a defined and efficient way. So this is the first step of getting your project started. There are two types of administrators. You have your account admins and your project admins. The very first admin you have will be your account admin. Your first account admin would be the purchaser of the product. So they are assigned this role by the direct sales team. Additional account admins can then be added. Your account admin has the ability to add other account admins, project admins, and members. The role of an account admin is to manage accounts at the company level. So even though account admins can add project members at the role, that's what the project admin needs to do. Admins are added by an account admin or by another project admin. What they do is manage teams at the project level. So it's also their role to add project members. We go through that process in detail in part 2 of the series. Now we'll go into our live demo. I already have a project prepared, set up with all files and teams to show you what the end result looks like. I'll also go over the workflow as well and show you where we can take these steps. Now, what you need to do is sign into acc.autodesk.com. This is where you access the ACC platform. Once you sign in, you're directed to the projects list within your home page. This is where all your projects are stored once they're created. To create a new project, you use this button up here in the top left. And a card will pop up to walk you through the process. Once your project is created, you will be redirected to the project admin or account admin module. So in the top left is the product picker, where you can move between different modules. In my case, I am set within the project admin as I am a project admin. If you are an account admin, you will have an additional module below for the account admin module. So as you can see, My modules list is empty. And this is where you come in with assigning access. So initially, you won't have any products turned on. So to switch them on, you'll need to select myself here. And this pane on the right-hand side will pop up. The member profile. You can set their company, their role, their access level. And here would be a list of products that this member has subscriptions to. From here, you assign access simply by toggling on the modules you need. So I'm toggling on the BIM Collaborate Pro modules here for docs, design collaboration, and model coordination. So turning on access is pretty easy. You can just go from member to member. At this stage, you'd only be adding additional project admins. Next, we want to set up our folder structure, keeping everything neat and organized. I have my folder structure set up like so, with subfolders for each team. Do note that this is what your admins will see. Admins can see all folders, but your team members will only see what's relevant to them. That's controlled through permissions, which will be in part 2 of the webinar. The way we create these folder structures is pretty much the same way as how you would do it in your File Explorer. Within BIM Collaborate Pro, you have 2 options for creating subfolders. The first method is creating your subfolders right here in Docs under the Files tab. So here you can right-click any folder to add a subfolder, or you can use the ellipsis menu and add a subfolder from there. Now, do keep in mind, the only folder you do not want to create in Docs is the shared folder. So this method is the more traditional method. It's intuitive, we're all familiar with, and you can easily see what your folder structure looks like as you go. The second method is through design collaboration. You have to create your shared folder in design collaboration. This is because that's where all your shared folders are stored and where different teams will collaborate together. Thus, we create that folder in design collaboration. In fact, the first time you go into design collaboration, you'll automatically be directed to this shared folder tab in the settings, and you'll be asked to create a shared folder. A key thing to remember is once you have defined your shared folder, you can't change it to a different one. Next, you can have design collaboration create those subfolders on your behalf as you create teams through this box here. Now, if you use the traditional method of creating your folder structure inside Docs, you can simply choose Select Existing Folder to associate a team to that folder. Whichever method you use to create your folder structure is really down to personal preference and what works best in your workflow. BIM Collaborate Pro provides this flexibility. So that's how teams and subfolders are related. If you go to design collaboration as your preferred route, you'd be creating teams and subfolders within the folder structure at the same time. Next is setting up your coordination spaces. So we can move into the coordination tab. Here you can set up coordination spaces for each team, and it tells you whether it's turned on, and it says simply the coordination space on and off. Model coordination is turned off for one team. It will allow clash detection within this team. If it is turned on for the shared folder, it will do clash detection for files shared between different teams. We'll head back into Docs and talk about adding files. There are several different ways to add files. You can use the upload button. You can right-click on any of your folders, including your subfolders here. Or you can go through the ellipsis menu to upload additional files. You can even drag and drop straight into your folders. That's fine for files like PDFs and Word documents. But for files like Revit files, DWGs, and so on, it's recommended that you publish to docs within the application. My specialization is in Civil 3D, so I'll show you where you can do that within the application. So at the moment, I've opened up a file here. We can see that it's already in the cloud, and you can tell because it has cloud in square brackets in front of the name. The workflow for publishing to docs is this. You would go into Save As, and when the dialog box opens, you'll see in the left-hand pane, Autodesk Docs is at the bottom. So click in here, you'll see the accounts you have access to. So in my case, I have access to the Vinzero account. Next is your projects. And from here, you can choose any of your folders, publish that file to, and it will We do go into more detail on this process in part 3 of the webinar. So back inside Docs, I also want to show you the search feature. If you have a ton of files, it's useful to know how best to search. The search function in Docs initially appears as this bar here. So click in there and a panel with more details will appear on the right-hand side. You can search not just by name, but also the location of your search. Do you want to search in the current folder or all folders? You can also define what type you're looking for. Are you after a file or a folder, as well as different file types? Now, it will only show file types that already exist within your project. You can add additional parameters such as the status, what version file you're looking for, as well as searching by date. If you click on a file within Docs, you're able to see the file directly inside the platform. And as you can see, markup tools are also available on the right-hand side. So next time, in part 2 of the series, we'll go into detail about how to add project members, how to manage your members at the account level, and the details of assigning roles and permissions. Additional resources where you can learn more about both BIM Collaborate Pro and ACC are learnacc.autodesk.com and our YouTube channel. At learnacc.autodesk, you'll find free video tutorials that show you the ins and outs of every ACC product. So if you go into courses, you'll be able to find video tutorials grouped by product. And you have free access to them. So this also includes BIM Collaborate Pro right here. You can also find us on YouTube by searching Vinzero A2K Technologies. Today's webinar will be uploaded there. On our channel, you can find our past webinars as well as video tutorials.